Hey everybody, doing another video here, focusing this time on Hooru Control. This is a deck that I haven't played very much since it sort of became good, which is unusual given the fact that this is the kind of deck I usually really enjoy. But this time, this is a deck that was played by SMJ1340. I don't know, I can't remember the name for it, but SMJ. Let's go with SMJ. In the most recent Seek Power event that happened this weekend. Not Seek Power. SPG. Seek Power Gaming. That's the one. They did an event this weekend, a tournament this weekend, and I think that this is the list that took it down. So I felt like I wanted to try this out. I'm still going to be sort of preparing and like working through this week of trying to find a deck that is best suited for the tournament that's happening this weekend, the ECQ. But I'm sort of surveying different things. I have some concerns about this particular deck and this particular build of this particular deck. This is a lot of power, but also has a lot of removal spells. Basically, just need to find any sort of card draw, and I think that I should be good here. I'm not going to die for like the first 5 turns, I would expect. So, yeah, this is something that I'm interested in, and at least getting familiar with the deck in terms of, like, is this something that I should be playing? Something that I should be prepared against, etc. Because I think it's been pretty popular on ladder from what I've seen. That counts as card draw. It's a pretty good chance I'm going to privilege of rank next turn. I probably should have privileged it last turn. I'm not sure though. Oh, play a 1-drop, please. Play a 1-drop, please. They have Torch. I don't want them to gain more Warcry triggers off of their unseen, the Rip Knife Assassin, because a lot of the removal that I have in my hand is damage based between like both the Hailstorm and the Orc Runehammer. Yeah, so that is that. Now I'm out of like hard removal, but this is still fine. Aha, now I can do the following. This is also what I wanted to set up. I'm doing the Honor Clause into Privilege of Ranks. Privilege of Rank, rather. They seem to be playing my deck, and this is a deck, of course, that I did a video with not that long ago. So you should be familiar with that. I probably should have cast the Defiance here, honestly, now that I think of it. Yeah, this is definitely my deck. Interesting timing. They're really running a card. This is a really good matchup for me, honestly. I have played, of course, the matchup from the other side a number of times. It's just something that you don't quite get enough pressure on board to, especially get under things like harsh rule, like the sweepers are really, really good against you. And you have enough life gain between things like the Throne Wardens and other weapons. It just ends up being a really, like a matchup that you just get outgunned in terms of power level in your deck pretty quickly. So they are either pausing on a torch or a rapid shot here. I mean, we do know that they have a torch. They've had it earlier. They might have a rapid shot in addition, and they're just trying to get in damage, doing damage-related math. That seems unlikely, though. They just also forgot that they had a torch. There is clearly what happened, I think. Let's go throw Nord in here. I wouldn't be surprised if I get something like Torch plus Desecrate. But I'm fine with that. This also deals with any big unit that happens as a result of War Cries here. If they do have the Rapid Shot here, it's fine. I still have the armor. Yeah, talk about... Like, this is very, very obviously my deck. I'm going to do this so that I can cast the Privilege of Rank as well. Torch, probably one power at this point, and then maybe one other card that makes a difference. Let's just jam this as a Wisdom. Okay. And they're done. Yeah, like, I think that this is a pretty natural play pattern to this matchup. Oh, I also forgot that I had that quest. That's actually good. I want to make sure I get to that 30,000 gold. I don't know if you'll be able to see it once we go through this screen. But I have just short of the 30,000 gold that I need for running the ECQ this weekend. So, like, I have 23, almost 24,000, and then I have 2 quests still on the go here. So those will be very easily done today. For me, but just want to make sure that I get all of that together. Might have to grind a little bit extra. I think I should probably start grinding Gauntlet, since I don't think that I'm mastering Gauntlet yet. It's a good reminder, though, for those of you who haven't done that yet, since this is also an accelerated set schedule compared to what we're used to. This hand is not spectacular, but it'll definitely play. Permafrost can save me from a lot. The fact that there's no hailstorms in the market here is something that I'm suspicious of. I honestly do like the Scourge of Froststone quite a lot. It's come up in some of my games that I've played against this deck, and I've been impressed by it by like a lot. Like, very, very impressed by it. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have cards that do things. If they do, then I'm probably dead. There's not like dead here, but there's going to be a lot of possibilities for them to deal some serious damage. Yep. That's very spooky. Permafrost, this plays around something like Feather or Inquisitor's Blade on the Red Canyon Smuggler, which is something I'm really worried about. If they have Plate, I basically just need to draw better cards from my deck. Yeah, so Feather. I actually think that's probably wrong to put it on Hojon. Like, you're just generally going to get a lot more damage in through the Smuggler. Like, you would have gotten 6 damage in there. Oh, baby. That was excellent. Thank God. Okay, so assuming that I don't die here, I should be able to Throne Warden and then get back into this game pretty quickly from there. Permafrost, I guess also, like, basically they have to have really big weapon or a really big charge unit, which they don't have. Those were the things that I was the most scared of. Okay, yeah, like 3-2 on he wrote, I don't give a shit. And we're done. I was actually quite close, all things considered. That was also just partly maybe a function of the structure of their market as well, because had they had the Inquisitor's Blade there on the merchant, it would have done so much damage. I'm not sure about that one. Like, I would have to see the exact composition of their market in order to really evaluate it. So Pepito was on a kind of controlling Genève deck when I was playing against them earlier today. Popotito is it? Sorry, Popotito. I always say Pepito, but that's not correct. It's kind of blurring it all together. But it is, in fact, not that deck that they are playing right now. Seems that they're on a Stone Scar. Maybe I was playing them on Stone Scar as well. They just seem to be playing a lot this morning. Like me, testing things out for the event. I like Cobalt Waystone with the Oracle Runehammer quite a lot. Champion of Chaos was the main thing that was going to set me off of the Oracle Runehammer. I just hope that they don't have another Champion of Chaos. That's what I worry about the most here. I guess Vara would also be pretty bad. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Sorry about that, a little bit of lag. Well, that's sick. One for one, one for one, one for one. Please just play nothing. Have a bunch of removal spells in hand that don't do anything. That'd be great. It would mean a lot to me. This is problems. I have no tools to maximize my chance, really, of grabbing something that kills her. I guess I could just play out the Palace and get a draw to. That puts me dead to 5 damage, which is kind of hard to do. I also will next turn have the knife. Okay. Ooh, if this is my deck that they are playing, or basically a version of that, like maybe substituting the Dark Return for what I was playing. Okay, sack the city. Yeah, I think this is the only way that I survive here. But it's still, like, they have a fast spell of some sort. Unless it's just, like, Annihilate, I'm still dead here. And not to mention, they got a card from their market, which probably kills me too. Yep. Technically, it was wrong, actually, to torch me at that moment, because if I had another knife, I could have played it there, like, on top of myself, so because I can play 2 of them a turn, and it would have also been free. Like, very, very minor thing. I was, like, very, very dead in that situation. Interesting to note that the +1/+1 on the Vara definitely mattered there, because it made a difference in... I know it didn't matter, really. Yeah, let's do it. This one has the potential to go wrong, but I feel like we can draw another power, and then we'll be fine. Crests are basically, you know, the second power. We all know this. And my opponent's on -1 cards. We did it. Reanimator? Oh, they got their cards back. Well, this matchup is not good. I really want to get to Scourge of Frostwell, I think. That's like my solution. They got a pretty good set of hits there. I am going to be focusing on just getting deeper into my deck. Yeah, there's none of these cards that do anything really right here. Yep. I can double vanquish. That is something. Auric Runehammer is really not good in this matchup, though. I think I just want Palace, actually. This one's really hard. Yeah, the Rune Hammers are really bad in this matchup because they just gum up the ground with these little shitters. Makes it really hard to attack through. Please do not discard a Zindel. That is not an Zindel, so that's what I was worried about the most. I'm just kind of doing this so that I can spend my power, get rid of these guys, etc. I think that my chances of them not having a grasp are decent, and I can probably beat a grasp without too much difficulty. Definitely going to just jam Palace next. Hit him in the face. This is something that I am making some considerations because I'm going to get sabotaged here, and they kind of want to get rid of my Vanquishes in order to protect their Varas. Okay, that's important. Because now they have grasp, and they have enough power. Let's go honor. Okay. I actually don't want to hailstorm here because I don't want back alley delinquent to go back into the void. So I kind of mentioned relic weapons are not great. This one's definitely difficult. I am making progress, though. They're attacking with everything. They can kill this with the Black Sky Harbinger. Which is kind of fine. You want to keep them under pressure, too. Force them to, like, move things onto the board. They're more likely to have a second Black Sky Harbinger than they would have a second Grasp, given how they were playing. Interesting. There's a reasonable chance that I can set up a racing type situation where I get to kill them with Pal or something like that, assuming that they didn't block here. Given the block, I'm actually kind of like fine. I have a lot more resources than them, a lot more power than them. They have to grasp in order to really get a lot into the battlefield. I like this. This definitely sets up some decent plays with the Palace, particularly. They're really running out of resources at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a grasp here, right? And I have double harsh rule if they go for the sabotage play. Interesting, going for Sporefolk. Okay, they got the privilege of rank. They could have another Vara in hand. Should be a bit disappointing. Next turn, I can go Throne Warden plus Palace, which is obviously a strong board state. These games are grueling, man. Oh! I'm into this. Did we do it? Has it been done? Maybe they're waiting for another power for them to be able to play the Sabotage. We'll see. I was going to say, they already got the grasp from the market. Here I can go the knife to kill this. I'm ordering this wrong. I probably should have started with Honor. Definitely ordered this all wrong. What a disaster. I could probably set up Genev plus... I should have kept the power in order to set up Genev plus Scourge, because if they can't cast spells, then they're in a lot of trouble. Though here I actually just have lethal. Nice. Nice. Tough matchup, but as I showed it is doable to do. Got ourselves a sweet gold chest. Whew. This is going to be a long 5 games. Like, already I mean, like, I'm the one playing Hooru Control, not exactly a shock, of course. Honor the Claw, man. Very good card. And very good card. Terrible name. Very good card. Got up to almost 25,000 gold now, so we are making some progress there. The main concerns that I have for this deck, there's definitely some questions I have about numbers of different cards in different positions, composition of the market, and such. In terms of matchups, though, I think that the one that I'm the most concerned about is Genev. That's something that when I've been on the Genev side, which I've played a lot, like I've played a lot more from the Genev side, I feel as if it's a pretty good matchup. I mean, obviously, Genev does have the potential for some, like, really wonky draws. So, especially when you're playing the Hailstorms, it can be a really big issue. So, I'm not sure how I feel about that. That's one that I'm hoping to see, maybe right now, and see how this performs in that matchup. But that's the one that I'm the most curious about and most worried about for playing a deck like this. I guess also the Praxis tokens decks could really go underneath this too. That's one that I might be interested in testing a little bit specifically. The popularity of that deck, though, has really died off. People were really into it for like a day or two, and then it just died. This has 1 power. I think that I would send this back on the draw. On the play, rather, but on the draw, it's like... It's really sketchy. I have 2 early interaction spells. Ooh, not what I wanted. Quarry. Well, that's better than like an aggro deck. Okay, that's a start. Really want a Privilege of Rank or a Wisdom of the Elders here. They have a torch. They have a show. They have a tomb. Tomb. I was kind of considering playing the Hailstorm on the Merchant in order to use my power more effectively, and given the fact that like if they're not going to take the they're going to take Vanquish or Harsh Rule most likely, so they're not going to take the Snowball. So if I got another Hurler next turn, that I could double Snowball the Tomb. That's all very niche and lame though, so I decided to just make the simple and obvious play. One of the things that's kind of nice about this control deck is that you have no instant speed interaction, basically, no fast speed interaction. So when it's on your opponent's turn, you can just, sit back and watch. Don't have to be trying to, do the super fast clicks or whatever. The fact that they're not getting a ton of value off this tomb, or at least that they're not getting the revenge bit of value, I'm pretty happy about. That's the one that I think that this deck would struggle with the most. I was seriously thinking about whether or not I'm going to save the Vanquish for Elias. The difference between the two of them is not huge. It's in terms of like an actual flyer. I don't mind this one being just stunned for a while. We'll see. I'm fine with that. Yep. Display of Ambition? They do have show next turn. Jesus. I guess I could just have another torch, though. Oh, they're reading it as a Harsh Rule. This is sick. Did not think they would go for that bait. Oh man, that was amazing for me. I mean, I'm still really far behind because they do have that Display of Ambition. They can display back their Merchant plus their show, and I'm in a lot of trouble. Inquisitor Makoto, that card is basically unbeatable. The fact that this deck doesn't have like any silence or transform effects is something that I am concerned about as well, because particular threats like Mokto are just going to work me. I think I have to do this. I have to just beat them with sheer card advantage, and it's hard to just generate that much card advantage in this deck. Like you generate a lot. Don't get me wrong. Oh god. Sure. It's fine. It's not really fine. Display of Ambition? Yep. Your Arizona activation can kill my hurlers. Oh, God. Oh, the humanity. I mean, I haven't seen like any card draw this game, so that's definitely a consideration. But definitely this particular composition of this deck has got to be a horrible matchup. I mean, definitely you can tell that Kudo's Tome or Kudo's Tome, something like that. has designed their deck particularly to try to make this matchup good. Like things like Makto is not a typical inclusion in the deck, so there's been at least some minor tweaks in order to make this matchup good for them, and it's really showing. So this is a red flag here, that the Wind Chest deck could be a pretty bad matchup, assuming that things go the proper way. I'm going to play this out a little bit while longer, but I'm in huge trouble. I think the major path to victory probably involves Scourge, but like that's a 10 drop. So, and you have no ramp. It's just, you just have to get there naturally. Brel giving me the beats. And like even if I get have like a harsh rule, I'm still just miles behind. Yeah, I can technically live here, I think, but we're good. We learned our lesson. So 2 and 2. Trying to think about whether that game was just what was a really bad matchup and a bad draw, or a okay matchup and a bad draw. That's the hard part. I don't think that matchup would be great unless my opponent built their deck in a way that was kind of irresponsible, because they do a good job of blanking certain cards. Like Defiance isn't very good against them, Hailstorm isn't very good against them. I guess that this particular version of Hooru Control has been really teched to make the aggro matchups good. Like it's going to be very effective against the Stone Scar aggro, particularly like the 1-drop heavy versions of the Stone Scar aggro. So in that respect, it shouldn't be a huge shock to me that a matchup like that is not going to be at its best. Jesus. This is also what you get when you're not playing Seeks. Yeah, once again, we're on the draw. I will keep it, even though it's risky. I think this is a deck that going down to 6 cards is going to be pretty painful. Genève. So this is the last one that I wanted to really test. Well, that's our power, so at least we got that. Almost always in the most recent versions of the Genève decks, you get a power with your first merchant. You get a banner. But we will see whether or not they do. As they will play it right here if they did. Do not seem like they did. Interesting. Kill that. Play the banner. Pass the turn. This section of the game, though, is not where I'm worried about. It's worried when I get to the peak into Heart of the Vault, and a peak into Heart of the Vault like area of the game. This is probably a Caleb's choice, then, that they're having their hand right now. We'll notice it right here. They do not have a Caleb's choice. Okay. Treasure Trove. I didn't even notice that they had a thingamajiggy. Don't think there's anything in my market that is like super useful at the moment. Like Korvat Palace is obviously a good card, but I don't think that's what I want to be focusing on for the moment. Interesting. It discard the Hurler. It does technically reveal that I have the Hailstorm, the Snowball, but it's not the end of the world. This does pair well with things like the Runehammer. I'm going to bottom it still. Because I'm a wuss. So they did have a banner. I'm particularly not playing the knife here for the purposes of them having a Caleb's choice, display of instinct. Because if they had that, then I'd be in a ton of trouble. This is something that I sort of saw coming. Interesting. This hand is hard. I kind of just want to have more fodder. So my plan here is actually to play Throne Warden plus Vanquish. Ugh. Punished to the extreme. I probably should have just vanquished the Heart of the Vault here. It's a good channel. I'm sort of just floundering at this point because there's a lot of cards that I have access to that are good and are powerful, but I'm not sure which one of them I should be prioritizing. This is a difficult matchup for that reason. I'm worried about getting burnt out here, especially when I'm taking this hit for 6. 6 is a lot. Heart of the Vault number 2. Jesus H. Christ. I'm at 12. Not a high life total. Let's do this. I'm going to see if I can bait a... Interesting. It'll be pretty hard to blow me out in combat if I double block here. That's a very easy double block. Sure. Bait will be interesting. I actually spoiled bait. So it's a card I always remember fondly because it was I think one of the first ones that I spoiled. Yeah, it was the first one that I spoiled. I did it on behalf of Orange Eternal back when I was working with them. They do not seem to have a... They could have Torch here. Equivocate. Okay. Keep on giving me good cards. I'll see if I'm playing them. Please don't have the counterspell. We did it. I'm pretty fine missing out on this. Oh, we did it. Okay, so that matchup is, I think, better than I anticipated, just like feeling it out. When I was playing it against it on the side of the Genev 2, there were some games where it felt like it wasn't that bad. It's hard though, like on both sides. It's definitely a skill-intensive matchup, and I need to play it a lot more. Interesting to note that people are playing much more Surso. I don't know if it's all just in the market, which I would get, given people don't want to be playing. I don't want to be changing up their market composition a little bit. So that's fascinating. It also makes sense that if they're on the Aurelian Merchant build, that they wouldn't be playing the Caleb's Choice in the market anymore. Anyway, all really interesting stuff. This deck did perform a little bit better than I anticipated. It's still, I want to iron things out a little bit more. Defiances were really good in those games because you just want the tempo and just a couple turns extra to draw your cards and get to your late game finishers. In that particular matchup, I feel like the Wind Chest deck is a little bit too fast and doesn't kind of like works on a slightly different axis, and the fact that they can require their threats, etc., that it makes it a little bit more difficult. But anyway, those are my thoughts on this deck for right now. Definitely a contender, one that if you're not playing this deck into the ECQ, you definitely should be familiar with it and what the most common builds of the deck. And this is one that I would expect to be pretty popular given the fact that I just won a tournament. So check this out. It was a lot of fun playing the deck, and I will catch you all later.